Autumn says, thank you for watching our videos and please hit the thumbs up button and help my dad. That's my good girls. So guys and gals, today we brought some projects home and we're going to get started in on this one. This is turns out to be a 1987 John Deere SX75. This was first production year. I think they made these 4 or 5 years. This is first year. It's in the first couple thousand anyway. So it's not missing too much. There are a few things gone from it. Let's look it over real quick. I just set the hood back on it. I had taken it off to transport. So it's going to need a battery in there. A little bit of rust down there, but not too bad. Certainly had worse. The hood come right off. I'll set it over here on this other one. Has a 9-horse Kawasaki engine in it. When I got it, it's kind of what it looked like. The shroud is unbolted and the bolts are gone. The airbox just missing that nuts, and then the coil is loose. Bolts are gone. So it appears somebody was chasing the issue with spark. So that's what we've got to work with. Today I downloaded a wiring diagram for this because typically it's not that. Usually it's one of the safety switches that's interrupt or grounded out the ignition. This is the second one of these I've had. I fixed one of them up and I was out mowing with it one day and a friend stopped by and he goes, man, I got a friend that just bought some property. It's a couple acres or something. He needs a ride mower. He needs it today. You got anything? I go, well, I got this one, but I kind of like it. And I had others that I just didn't want to sell at all. And 2 hours later, it was rolling out of here on a trailer, and I had some money in my hand, so it was gone. And I go, well, shoot. I've got this other rear engine rider over here. It turned out to be parts only. We did get it to run, but everything's froze up on it, so I gave up on it. I was hoping to find another one, but that's like a 1 or 2 year only tractor. I'll probably never find one. I'll just sell that to somebody that wants it for parts or do something with it. So back to the 75 though. So I think we need to kind of put back what somebody has taken off, put the coil back on, plug it back in, figure out some sort of a battery so we can spin it and see if we can get spark at this thing, and then we'll go after fuel. So the last one of these I did have to clean the carburetor. I remember pulling that thing off like 3 times to get it perfectly clean, and then it ran perfect. I mean, it was just, wow, impressive. Really run good, sounded good. So I have a little experience working on these. The other thing I did when I was just kind of experimenting. This has an electronic ignition module. Someone somewhere said, they're really expensive. And I go, I'll bet it's no different than a Nova 2. And this is a Nova 2. This is a little kit. You can buy these online, eBay and such for like 20 bucks, a little over 20 bucks. Trying to make my, there we're focused. Little tiny module, there's my finger. Nova 2. And so I plugged in the Nova 2 where the Kawasaki module was, and then hit the key, fired right back up again. So if there's an issue with the electronic ignition module, there's the fix. So that's the introduction to this. So let me see about, I don't have the greatest supply of metric bolts and stuff, but I have some. So let me see about bolting that coil back down. I don't think I'll bother put the shroud back on right now. And we'll see if we get spark. If we get spark, then we'll see if we get fuel. And if we get fuel, we'll see if we can make it run. Or maybe we'll see if we get spark and we'll just shoot some ether in it, see if it can run. I'm hoping this thing is an easy fix kind of deal. We'll see. We'll see. All right, back in a little bit. So here's the wiring diagram for this thing, the SX75. And eventually, I mean, if this thing runs and drives and stuff, we can go through this whole thing and make sure everything functions that we want to function. I'm not a big, like, seat safety switch guy. I don't want the thing to shut off every time I get off the thing. That's just me. Careful. So, but we don't have to deal with all this right now. What we need to do is make it turn over. Here's the starter circuit here. There's the starter solenoid there. And this is the back side of the ignition switch. We know we can jump the solenoid and make this thing turn over. But right now, there's the igniter. I was showing you that Nova 2. This is their module. And you can see it comes up to the ignition switch and gets grounded when the ignition switch is in the normal or off position. As soon as you turn the key on, it'll move away from ground and will allow that igniter to function. So what we need to do is remove this cover to reveal the back side of the ignition switch and find this white wire. It's a little fuzzy, I know. The print is fuzzy. Oh no, it's not white. What is it? Yeah, it is. It's white. And we'll pull it from here because I don't have a key. We'll pull it from there so it's no longer grounded out and there's no safety switches between here. All these safety switches are all over this thing and all they do is ground out the ignition. So we'll bypass all that garbage, pull that white wire from the ignition switch, which will make the igniter work, and we'll jump the solenoid and spin this motor over. My guess is, because almost every one I've ever dealt with, it was one of these safety switches that were grounding out the ignition, causing it not to work. So when I looked at this yesterday before I loaded it up and hauled it home, seen the cover was removed, the coil was removed. Somebody's gonna replace a coil because they thought it wasn't working. I seriously doubt it. They almost just, I'm not saying they never go bad, but it's certainly not the first thing. And somebody doesn't know if that was maybe what they maybe experienced, you know, some years ago on some other piece of equipment where it was a coil. And that's the first thing they're going to jump at. It's the last thing I'm going to jump at because I don't think that's it. But you just never know. So let me pull off the couple of screws there, take that cover off so we can get to the back side of the ignition switch, find that white wire, and disconnect it. Alright, I got the battery charger hooked to it. There's no battery in it. And I got some ether standing by. If it cranks over, we'll squirt it. What do you think the chances? I think 50-50. I think 50-50. Should be enough to do something. Well, it didn't. It didn't. Oop, this may be my guy. Hang on. Well, gang, it's the next day. Obviously, it wasn't firing. So, what's next for this 9-horse Kawasaki? Well, remember that Nova 2 I just showed you a little bit ago? I think the next thing we do is replace the ignition igniter with that. And I was just digging in here a little bit to see. I believe the factory one is right there. There's a Phillips screw to take out, and then there's a hole through this shield to get to that screw. So I'm going to pull that out because it's impossible to film, and we'll put the other igniter in, and we'll see about that. Unless somebody has jacked with the wiring, and I don't see that that's the case, and put voltage to that, which is essentially a magneto, right? There shouldn't be any reason that that's hurt. But those little igniters, I understand, go out frequently. They are, I don't think they're available. The coils are no longer available from Kawasaki. I'm not sure if these are. They probably are. But the Nova 2s are a lot more bulletproof than even the factory ones. And that's coming from folks on the internet that have done this swap. So let's do the swap. Try it again. Okay, so here's the original factory Kawasaki module, and here's the Nova 2. This one grounds by bolting it. Autumn, no! Sorry, my dog was getting rowdy with the neighbor dog. So where was I? This is factory Kawasaki unit. It grounds by bolting it to the engine. The Nova 2 is completely isolated, so it has a ground wire on it. So it's got two wires where this has one. For the moment, I grounded it here to the coil. I made another lead that plugs into to the connector that used to plug into the original. So that's what I've done. Again, it's a temporary connection. If it runs with this connection, that will make it permanent. If it doesn't, we'll put this back. Okay. So for now, we'll throw that down there. Alright, I think I'll set back up to spin this motor and see if it wants to run. Alright, we're ready like we were yesterday for you a couple seconds ago. Alright, see if she'll do something. Just gonna turn my battery charger on. Do much. Almost looks like the starter's loose or wore out or something. Okay. Well, that didn't fix it, which means probably going to put that other one back in. Let me go get my spark checker, see what we got going on. Okay, spark checker's hooked up. No sparky. Alright, well, what's that tell us? We've replaced half the ignition, now we get to replace the other half. So I guess I gotta order a coil, and that's gonna take a little while to get. Okay. Again, the coils aren't available from Kawasaki, so you gotta do the aftermarket thing, which is probably not a bad thing. It's probably cheaper, it's probably a better one anyway. And it is starting to rain a little bit, as I thought it might. So, we'll catch up with you in a day or two, or just a few seconds. Alright, well now we're the next day. This is Thursday. I've got a coil ordered for this. I still have the Nova 2 ignition module connected. I haven't put the original one back yet. Then I had this idea. One thing I didn't do, let me show you real quick. I'm going to walk you over. On this wiring diagram, I should have been a little more thorough. Move my stuff. So this white wire at the top there goes to the igniter, right? If grounded out, it shuts your ignition off, okay? And it comes back to here. That particular white wire only goes to here. and it's grounded right here at the ignition switch. In the off position, that wire is grounded. You open it up, it's not grounded, okay? That's clear. But what about the one below it? This is connected here. If this white wire gets grounded anywhere, and I started looking and it goes everywhere, that is still going to ground the ignition. It's not going to run. And I didn't check that. So maybe if I'd have checked that yesterday, I wouldn't have ordered a coil. Maybe. Because I still don't think the coil's bad, but I'm going to have another one anyway. So here's the wires. Let me do it from this side. There's two white wires. Oh gosh, you really not be able to see this over there. The harness is so short. You set you back here as close as I can get you. Sorry for what you can or can't see. So this is the harness. There's the two white wires. What I'm going to propose to do is cut one of them. Doesn't matter which one. I don't know which one is which as far as which one is on the diagram. What I do know is I can put them back together later if I leave enough slack. But let's test it. I got a meter. It's a Harbor Freight, but hey, for stuff like this, it's just fine. These are your absolutely free ones, right? They don't give these away much anymore. I haven't got a new meter in maybe a couple of years. So we're going to ground one. We're in our resistance mode. Gosh, I hope you can see that. And then we'll probe the one with the two white wires in it. And as I thought, those are grounded. And that, you can see if I hit it here, same result, right? If that's grounded, the ignition's grounded, and it's just not going to work. So I was on the right track. I can't shut my brain off for this stuff. I think about it all the time. So I just wish it was quicker. So let's do cut one, and then let's go back and try this whole get spark scenario again. Again, doesn't matter which one. I can't tell, but they are connected together at this connector. And if it's grounded anywhere, it's all grounded. So if I open either one of them up, I open that connection, ground issue goes away for now. We'll have to dig into it to find out what's up. We'll have to open that harness up a little bit to get these wires spliced. Wish I had a side cutter with me. We'll get it. Alright. It's cut. Now then. See, I had that unplugged from the ignition switch, but that was only half the story. Let me get set up to turn this over again with my battery charger, and we'll spin it, see if we get spark back. Hang on. Okay, I moved you over so you can see the spark checker. At least I hope you can. Alright. I gotta get it in the spot where I can see it. Okay. Ready? No. We still don't have spark. No spark. Let me put my hand over. I know you can't see it, but ooh, you can. I'm right in the direct sunlight. It is sparking. We have sparkage. Look at that. Anybody want to buy a coil for a Kawasaki 9-horse? Well, they spent $50 for it. That's what I bought the mower for. Alright. We gotta see if she'll start up, fire up, do something now. We got spark. Which means I can put the igniter back in, all that jazz. My can's half empty. I gotta get a better angle. Alright, here we go. I really don't know why that's not firing up. I don't know. Just take this off. Oh, there is a choke. Maybe we'll try that. I don't know how all the levers work on this thing. Try some more. Very interesting. Well, this is progress, so let me pull that spark plug out of there, see what the heck we got. Catch up with you a little bit. I pulled the plug out of it, and it's pretty wet, pretty fouled, and I kind of wonder why. Ooh, yeah, maybe there's not much left of that. I'll have to find me a plug. I don't know if I got one or not. I got a few here on the shelf, and like I said, I had one of those before, and usually when I go get something, I get more than one, especially on that one, because I was thinking I was keeping that last one. So let me dig through, see what I have, or I have to run to the store and get one. But I think we're on the right track here. Alright, it's been a couple hours. I'm back. I got the spark plugs. I got some for both tractors, by the way. This is the plug I put in it. It is nothing like what I took out of it, besides it's not broke. Even the spark plug wrench was a different size. Never trust what was in it. I always make them look it up. They don't like it, but that's what they're paid for. Alright, I got the charger hooked up so we can spin it. What do you think? I think the odds are good. I'm giving it a 75% chance of fire. Alright, all I want to do is hear it fire, because there's some bunch of stuff this thing needs, and I don't want to spend money on it until I hear fire. There, we got some in there. Okay. Yeah, I knew it. I knew it. You got her. It's like carboned in there. she's a runner. We don't know much more about it. It's actually a little fuel, or what is at least liquid, that showed up in that fuel filter. Need to flush that fuel system out. We might probably need to take carburetor off and do a little cleaning and all that jazz. But yeah, let's recap this here real quick. If I can use this video in my parts search, it just kind of give you an idea of where I go from here. So I think we got to get a motor. We got to get air filter. Oil we got. I don't like the tires on it. Even though that one over here, well, they're a different tread, but that one over there is even cracked a little bit. But I got tire sizes. But I don't need those right away. I will need a tube for the front. But really, it's not bad. I don't have the screen for the cover. That bothers me a little bit because you suck a lot of dirt up in there. This screen cover thing, I'll look around a little bit, but I need to get an ignition switch because I don't have the key. And stuff like that, go from there. I think, because that thing was just pumping black smoke, and it possibly was even almost hydraulic locking. Maybe there was a little bit of fuel sucking in there. We'll dial that in when we dial in the fuel system, pull that carburetor off, give it a good cleaning. But it does fire, it does run. I think it's good. I'm going to spend a little money on it. You know, $50 to $100. We'll probably stop there for now until I assess the rest of it. Yeah, I think we'll end the video here, guys. Thanks for watching, commenting, subscribing. Hit the thumbs up button, please. Get my videos looked at by more than just 10 people. That'd be great. And we'll pick this up. We'll do a full service on it. Find things to grease and oil and put the hood on and clean up the cowl and just kind of make it presentable. Get the new ignition switch in when it arrives, and all that good stuff. And I have a spare coil for the next one, I guess. All right, gang. Thanks again. Catch you on the next one.